You were not born into power. You were born into hunger. You lost your father before you became a man. You were enslaved. You escaped. You united tribes that hated each other for generations.
You'll never escape,
You built
dog!
an army
Fight
that could
fight!
cross continents. You erased cities. You protected trade routes. You reshaped Eurasia. This is how it happened. You were born as Temujin in 1162 near the Khenti Mountains of Mongolia. There are no castles, no marble halls, no armies waiting for you. Only grasslands stretching beyond sight, cold winds that cut through felt tents, and horses. Everything depends on horses. Your father, Yasuge, is a minor clan leader. He survives by alliances, marriages, promises, and intimidation. When you are 9 years old, he is poisoned by rivals. He weakens slowly. You watch his strength fade. You watch your protection disappear with him. When he dies, your clan abandons your family. No warriors stay. No protection remains. Your mother, Hoelun, refuses to surrender. She gathers wild onions. She traps small animals. She rations every scrap of food. You learn to fish in freezing water. You learn to track animals in snow. You learn which routes can kill and which can save. Hunger becomes your first teacher. You and your brothers fight constantly. One day, over stolen food, you kill your half-brother. Not in rage, in survival. That moment changes you. You understand something brutal. Mercy without power means death. As a teenager, you are captured by a rival clan. They lock a wooden collar around your neck. You are displayed, humiliated, reduced to property. At night, you escape. You slip into a river. You hide beneath the surface. You breathe through reeds while warriors search the banks. You wait. You endure. You survive. You never forget the weight of that collar. You marry Borte. Soon after, the Merkit tribe attacks and kidnaps her. This is not just personal, it is political humiliation. You respond immediately. You seek help from former allies of your father. You negotiate. You promise future loyalty. You build a small coalition. You strike at dawn. You divide your force into 3 directions. One blocks escape, one flanks, one attacks the center. The Merkit break. You recover Borte. But more importantly, you prove something. You can coordinate. You can command. You can win. Men begin joining you, not because you are noble, because you are effective. You form a blood-brother bond with Jamuka. For a time, you fight together, but he believes leadership belongs to aristocratic bloodlines. You believe loyalty belongs to whoever earns it. That difference becomes war. The Mongol steppe divides. You change the system. You reorganize the army. 10 warriors, Arban. 100, Jagun. 1,000, Mingan. 10,000, Tumen. Commanders are chosen for skill, not ancestry. If a man fights well, he rises. If he fails, he is removed. Loot is divided systematically. Desertion is punished by death. Unauthorized looting is punished. Discipline replaces tribal chaos. In 1206, at a great Kurultai, the tribes recognize your dominance. You are declared Genghis Khan, universal ruler. From that moment, you are no longer a tribal leader. You are building a state. You create the YAM system. Relay stations every 30 to 40 kilometers. Fresh horses, secure routes. Orders travel across thousands of kilometers in days. Speed becomes your advantage. Then you look south. The Jin dynasty controls northern China. They have massive walled cities, standing armies, siege experience. You adapt. You capture engineers. You force them to build siege engines. You learn how to undermine walls. You learn how to use fire and stone against stone. In 1215, you take Zhongdu. The capital burns. You have proven something revolutionary. Steppe mobility plus discipline plus siege knowledge beats traditional empires. Your army operates differently than any before it. Each warrior carries multiple bows. Composite bows
Seize
made
them!
of wood,
In the name of the
horn,
Shah! We
and
are
sinew.
envoys! This is treachery!
Short stirrups
Or
for
taste our
stability.
steel!
Armor of leather and lamellar plates. Each warrior maintains 2 to 3 horses. You rotate mounts
Shah, the
constantly.
great Khan demands
Your army
submission.
can travel 80 to
Dare
100
speak so
kilometers
boldly
per
in my
day.
court?
You
I
use
order you to
feigned
advance
retreats
at once.
masterfully.
Crush the
You
invaders
attack.
without mercy.
You withdraw deliberately. The enemy chases. You surround them with hidden flanking units. Encirclement. Arrow storm. Collapse. You do not fight battles the enemy expects. You create multiple columns that move independently, but converge at the same moment. Communication through riders and signal flags. Precision over chaos. In 1219, the Khwarezmian Empire executes your envoys. That is unforgivable. You mobilize one of the largest steppe armies ever assembled. You split it into separate armies. You strike Otrar first. The siege is brutal. Then Bukhara falls. Then Samarkand. Cities that believe themselves untouchable collapse. You cut supply routes before attacking. You exploit internal betrayal. You offer surrender once. Refusal means destruction. You relocate artisans, metalworkers, carpenters, administrators. You strengthen your empire with the skills of conquered cities. Your empire now stretches across Central Asia. Trade routes reopen under your protection. Caravans move safely. Merchants pay taxes, but they survive. You are no longer just a conqueror. You are an architect of order through dominance. And you are not finished yet. You push farther than Central Asia. Your commanders split into multiple theaters. One column secures the steppe routes. Another moves into the irrigated lands where tax revenue is collected. A third smashes local resistance and secures caravan cities. Your ability to fight on multiple axes forces rulers to choose between accommodation or annihilation. You order the census of resources within newly controlled zones. How many camels? How many carts? How many artisans? How many granaries? You do not trust vague reports. You demand counts and delivery timetables. That administrative habit turns conquest into extractable wealth. Your envoys carry standardized letters and seals. Tribute becomes systematic. Grain quotas, horse levies, artisans' assignments. You repurpose palaces as administrative centers where local clerks record entries and scripts you do not read, but you control by appointed overseers. Language barriers matter less than organized lists. You institutionalize relocation. After a successful siege, you order specific craftsmen to be moved. A dozen smiths, several carpenters, 1 or 2 engineers. You place them near your main camps and assign guards. Their production, harness fittings, siege timber brackets, metal clamps, raises your operational tempo. You protect these people because they multiply your capability. You expand the YAM into a rudimentary intelligence network. Scouts, handlers, and local informants feed you names, troop movements, and market behavior. You punish commanders who ignore scouting reports. Speed of information becomes the difference between taking a city intact and chasing refugees across the steppe. Your campaigns meet varied geography. In mountains, you shrink columns and use light cavalry with mountain guides. In deserts, you secure wells and ration camels. In irrigated plains, you seize granaries first. Each terrain demands an operational tweak. You systematize those adjustments into standing orders. You master psychological warfare. When a town resists, you make an example. Public displays of punishment, the visible resettlement of populations, and visible use of captured trebuchets. When a city surrenders quickly, you keep the leaders in office under your authority and allow normal life to continue. That binary, severe reprisal or swift incorporation, shortens subsequent sieges. You formalize the Tumen as a logistical unit. Each Tumen is expected to maintain stock lists: horses, grain, tents, spare bows and arrows. Quartermasters keep ledgers. A single Tumen implies a supply train measured in thousands of animals and hundreds of support personnel. Without that tail, your riders are expendable. With it, they are decisive. You adjust taxation, not only tribute in silver, but quotas in grain, in horses, and in labor. Governors collect lists and send outputs to regional hubs. You reallocate supplies seasonally so that armies do not freeze or starve. This planning separates you from raiding confederations. You create an extractive system that funds continuous campaigns. Your diplomatic method is brutal and efficient. Envoys are given clear status, receive horses, safe conduct, and a set number of days to reply. If the reply is an insult or an execution, you mobilize. If a ruler accepts terms, you install his administration with your overseers and demand tribute lists. Diplomacy is a fast track to expansion when backed by your mobility. You institutionalize punishment and reward. A commander hiding silk is stripped of rank. His goods are redistributed to soldiers. An officer who holds a flank and turns the tide receives horses, yurt rent, and increased retinue. Your personnel system produces incentives aligned with battlefield outcomes. You broaden your reach to the Tangut state. In campaigns against the Western Shah, you meet harsh mountain fortifications and brutal winters. You push until your health weakens. In 1227, during operations in Western Shah territory, you fall ill or take a wound. You order your death and burial to be secret. You command that no tomb become a rallying point.